¿Qué tal, amigos, and welcome to the Listening Mastery Workshop. This workshop is about the most neglected skill in Spanish that people all struggle with but almost never work on or know how to work on: listening, hearing fast Spanish. You know it's hard for you, you just don't know how to improve it. We've got you. This workshop will show you. And then stay till the end, and we'll have some free giveaways, some things you can practice with, some flashcards and different things. So check it out. If you like it, let me know. See you in the workshop. Vamos. This is a listening workshop, listening mastery, and our program is called Fast Conversational Spanish. We have free workshops once a week with our team of coaches and a full program as well at the end. If you stick around, we'll tell you about that and some special offers and different things. Let's introduce you first to our team. We have Ali, Magda, and David here with us today. So just say, coaches, you can unmute yourselves and just say hola.
Hola a todos, bienvenidos.
Awesome.
Hello, everyone.
All right, so we're going to start off with a little game. Ali is from Mexico, Magda's from Argentina, David is from Venezuela, and this is what we do all day: help students get conversational, which we'll talk about what that even means and how listening fits in and how you can start implementing some of the exercises we give you today right now. These exercises, everything we do comes from our experience as teachers, 40 years of experience teaching students, but also my experience learning Spanish. I've been learning Spanish for 25 years. I've been living in Latin America for 15 years. I have been teaching for about 7. I know the obstacles you guys are facing, and that's one advantage of having this team, is that we have both perspectives. Ali, Magda, David, and the rest of our coaches can tell you the nuance, the immersion, all of those things that I can't give you, and I can help with things that I understand the obstacles from your perspective. I know how you're seeing Spanish. I know how you're struggling with Spanish. I know what the challenges are very personally, because I had to overcome them, right? So listening is one of the biggest. Listening, and that is half of conversation, right? Half of it is speaking and half is listening. So it's very important. And it's the second fastest language in the world. All right, so we're going to start off with a little game, okay? I'm going to put us all on the screen together here. And I'd like you guys, we're going to have Magda and Ali, and David can participate, even though David, you weren't here before the workshop, so you don't know what we're doing yet. But Ali, Magda, and David are going to have a little conversation real quick, okay? And they're going to talk about something. I want you guys to do your best to follow along. And this is what listening looks like. I'm going to show you at the end. This is what listening to Spanish looks like, and I'll tell you what I mean at the end. So Magda, Ali, lead the way. Cuéntanos de sus vacaciones.
Bueno. Primero, bienvenidos a todos. Welcome to the group. Bienvenidos a este grupo. Muy bien, Ali, comencemos. ¿Sí? ¿Qué hiciste en tus vacaciones, Ali?
Hola a todos. Hi, everyone. Welcome. En mis vacaciones, ahora estoy de vacaciones, entonces estoy viajando por diferentes ciudades de México porque quiero conocer nuevas ciudades y esta vez decidí no ir a la playa, sino moverme en ciudades más cosmopolitanas. Entonces, estoy disfrutando.
Por ejemplo, ¿cuáles?
Por ejemplo, ahorita ayer estuve en Ciudad de México y hoy estoy en Cuernavaca y pienso volver a Querétaro el
Bien.
sábado, entonces estoy moviéndome.
Perfecto. Y Magda, cuéntame de tus vacaciones.
Bueno, mis vacaciones fueron un desastre porque no pude salir a ningún lado. No tuve el tiempo de sacar los pasajes para irme a otro lugar de la Argentina. Entonces me quedé en casa a dormir. Peter, ¿tú dormiste en tus vacaciones? Porque
Sí,
yo
sí, bastante, aunque estoy trabajando mucho.
Muy
Okay.
bien.
So what you just saw here, how many of you were able to follow that whole conversation? Okay. All right. How many of you were pretty lost? All right. I only see one hand up, so you can put in the chat or whatever, but I didn't have to say a lot, right? Ali was saying a lot. Magda was saying a lot. I didn't have to say a lot. But what listening looks like is when they ask me a question, I can respond, right? And so it's very hard for me to show my students and show you guys what conversational Spanish looks like, because I can show you speaking Spanish all day, but it's very hard to demonstrate to somebody, oh, I hear what they're saying and I understand it. This is a very difficult thing for students are always focused on speaking. We need to get you focused on listening. All right. It is a neglected skill. So that's what we're doing today. You don't have to speak like a native speaker and be talking all day to feel a part of the conversation, to feel a part of the community, to feel connection with someone. You don't even have to speak perfect Spanish, but your ability to understand them and respond is way more important than being able to speak perfectly. Okay, so listening is the key. All right, let's listen to this. Is a fun example of why Spanish is so hard to understand. Did any Magda, Ali, or David entendieron?
Nada. No, nothing.
All right. This is actually a real clip from a reality TV show.
Eso es un nivel Dios.
Yeah, nivel Dios. Yeah, God level. All right. So we're gonna test you guys. Okay. Who wants to be the first participant? Who wants to be the first participant? Put yes in the chat. Whoever wants to be a participant, put yes, C in the chat. All right.
Vamos, vamos.
Who wants to be the first guinea pig? Don't be shy. This is something we want.
Ay, Patty está ahí. Patty se ríe.
All right.
Hillary.
Hillary is with us. Good. All right. Hillary, go ahead and unmute yourself. All right. Good. All right. So Hillary, and I want all of you to participate in your own minds and imagine what we're trying to say. Try to follow along. So Hillary, I'm going to say a word, okay? And I want you to repeat it back to me, okay? All right. Apúrate.
Apúrase.
Apúrate.
Apúrate.
Good. O vas
O vas
a perder
a perder
tu vuelo.
tu vuelo.
Apúrate o vas a perder tu vuelo.
Apúrate, tú vas a vuelo.
Okay. Ali or David, ¿puedes decir la misma frase?
Sí, apúrate o vas a perder tu vuelo. Apúrate
Difficult,
o
right?
vas a perder
Okay,
tu vuelo.
it's difficult, right? Right? Okay. How many of you got it easily? How many of you felt like that was easy? How many of you know what it means? All right. Put in the chat if you think you know what we just said, in English or Spanish, either one. Put in the chat if you think you know what it means. Put it in the chat and let us know. Or put a question mark if you have no idea what we just said. Okay. Parker says, say it again, please. David, one more time. Can you say it?
Sí. Apúrate o vas a perder tu vuelo.
Okay. Lindsay has a question mark. All right. Hillary has a question mark. Karen has a question mark. Right? Okay. Patty has a question mark. All right. Now, I'm going to do it with the words. Okay. So I'm going to zoom in here and highlight it. Right here. David, can you read it again, please?
Apúrate o vas a perder tu vuelo.
Right. Okay. Now, okay. You can see the words. How many of you understand? Hillary, do you understand this sentence? Do you know what it means in English?
O vas a perder tu vuelo. Yes.
Okay.
Apúrate. No sé esta palabra.
Good. And what does the other part mean? O vas a perder tu vuelo. What does that mean?
Or are you going to lose your flight, miss your flight?
Very good. So that's a perfect example, all right, of what we're about to teach you today. What is the point of this exercise? What am I trying to show you here? So listening is actually two things. It's hearing and understanding. Okay? Hearing and understanding are not the same thing. Hillary, the first word I said, apúrate, she was able to hear it, even though she doesn't know what it means. When I put the whole sentence together, she wasn't able to hear the rest of the sentence, even though on paper, she does know what that actually means. Right? So she could hear the part she didn't understand, and she understood the part she couldn't hear. There's a disconnect. These are two different skill sets, and in order to understand people in Spanish, you need both. You need to hear them and know the words. All right? So this is what we're going to teach you. Now, which do you think is more important? Hearing the words or understanding the words?
Understanding.
Okay. Hillary says understanding the words, or I should say knowing the words is a better way to say it. What's more important, hearing the words or knowing the words?
Knowing the words.
Knowing the words. Okay.
For me, hearing the words.
Someone else says hearing. Robert says hearing. Any other opinions? Okay. The answer is definitely hearing it. Why? Why is that? Because if you can't hear it,
Can't understand it.
doesn't matter if you know it or not. Like Hillary just was a perfect example. She actually knows the words, but because she can't hear them, they're useless in the real world. Right? So knowing things on paper is not the most important. Training your ear to hear Spanish is important. Hearing is physical, knowing is intellectual. Hearing is physical, knowing is intellectual. Hearing is what you need to train yourself to do. Everybody in the world who's ever taken a Spanish class has learned to know words, to learn to study words, to learn to intellectually memorize words. That's what all of you have done for many, many years, probably. Okay, you've learned lots of words, but none of you have probably worked in a good way on hearing them physically. And anybody who has ever experienced hearing loss or has a family member who had hearing loss knows hearing is a physical thing. Okay, but here's the good news. Just as you can lose your hearing, you can also improve your hearing. All right, just like any other muscle in the body, hearing is something that can be strengthened. Okay, and how do I know? All right, well, have you guys ever heard of like deaf people, or excuse me, not deaf people, blind people having really, really good hearing? Has anyone heard like a blind person has like super good hearing? Is that because a blind person has special ear genetics? Is that why? No, it's not why. It's because they're focused on hearing more than you are. That's it. It's focus. And if you guys put the same amount of focus into hearing Spanish, you will get better at hearing Spanish. This is a secret I had to discover after many, many years of not understanding what they're saying. I had to figure out a way to hear them better because it is the second fastest language in the world. Behind Japanese, for whatever reason. That's just a fun fact. Japanese is the fastest. Spanish is the second fastest. Just because you know the words doesn't mean you're going to be able to hear them if you don't train your ears physically to physically hear Spanish. Okay? So the exercises we're teaching you today, we're not teaching you new words. Whatever you know, right? Like if I'm Hillary, we're not teaching you apúrate today. That's not the object of this workshop. The object of this workshop, although I will tell you this sentence means hurry or you're going to miss your flight. So just FYI. Okay. But the purpose of this workshop is not to teach you more words. Yes, we have other classes for that. Today's workshop is about teaching you to improve your physical hearing ability so that whatever words you do know, you can hear them. And that will, it's like a net, all right? Your ears are a net. If you are listening, you want to catch as many words that are flying by you as possible, and then you can put them, your brain can put them together, all right? If you are not good at listening, a lot of words are going to go by you. If you're good at listening, you'll catch the words you know. You're still not going to know the words you don't know. What you know, what you don't. That's not going to change. But we want to maximize hearing the words that we do know. Okay? So let's get to it. There are 3 techniques that we're going to teach you. 1 is dictation, 2 is subtitles, and 3 is street practice. Okay, so dictation, I call the parrot technique. It means we say a word, you repeat it back to us, a little bit like what we did with Hillary, the first exercise. The second exercise is subtitles, where we're speaking and you're reading along with what we're saying. That's a little bit what we did with Hillary, the second exercise. Okay. And then the third is street practice. This is something you guys can and should be doing every single day, wherever you are, when you're immersed in Latin America, when you're immersed in Spain, when you're listening to Spanish on the radio, on the TV, in the streets, wherever you are. This is a practice you should be doing. I call it listening to hear, not to understand. So that's our goal for today, to teach you these 3 exercises. And then at the end of this, again, we'll talk about how that fits in to the bigger goal of conversational Spanish and how we get you, because that's ultimately what this is about immersion, being able to be a part of the conversation, have friends, have relationships, learn about the culture, experience cool things, right? That's conversational Spanish. It's life-changing. Survival Spanish, being able to get by is okay, but I want to put this in a big context. What is conversational Spanish? When you understand this, you'll understand where listening fits in. So we want this. Right now, we feel like Will Ferrell, right? When they start going blah, 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 right? That's how we look, okay? The biggest difference between survival and conversational Spanish is the following: memorization versus improvisation, speaking versus listening, and vocabulary versus all skills. What does that mean exactly? All right, everybody probably knows how to say this. I want tacos, right? Yo quiero tacos, okay? But what if the waiter came and said, lo traigo enseguida? What did I just say? Los traigo enseguida. Does anybody know what I just said?
I'll bring them in a minute.
Okay, good. If you're an intermediate student, guste que vayamos pidiendo algo de tomar. Any idea? Okay, So here is the problem with conversational Spanish. You can memorize what you want to say to them. You can't memorize what they're going to say back to you. They are fluent speakers in the real world. They are not following a script. They are not following what you learned in your classes. They are going to say whatever they want. Right? So, los traigo enseguida, como quisieran su carne cocida, guste que vayamos pidiendo algo de tomar, and so on and so forth. The waiters can say anything. You go out in the streets, it's even more unpredictable. If you meet somebody, who knows what they're going to talk about, right? So the only way to get conversational is you need, back to this, you can't just memorize things to say with random vocabulary. That's survival Spanish. That's getting what you need, but it's not conversing. Having all the skills, the grammar, the verbs, the pronunciation, the listening skills, the practice, the immersion, putting it all together, learning how to listen and improvise, that's conversation. And that's where 99%, in my opinion, maybe 95%, I'll be generous, out of 100 expats that I've met in the world in my 15 years, 5% of them speak conversational Spanish, in my opinion. Maybe it's more, but I'm giving a rough number. That's not an official number, all right? But very few gringos, very few foreigners get over the hump, what I call the intermediate plateau. And this listening piece is one of the big pieces why. So that's where this fits in, learning how to listen, okay? So yeah, getting our needs met is survival. Being able to converse where you understand each other in a way that flows naturally, right there, that's conversational. So let's get to these techniques, shall we? Any questions on that? Any comments or questions just on listening and how it fits into your goals? Okay, good. All right. We're going to start with street practice because this is something easy to do. Anybody can do it. So I'm just going to start. Street practice means listen to hear, not to understand. All right. So when we're out there in the street and people are speaking or whatever, listening to music, listening to TV, wherever you are, how many of you listen to Spanish in some form or another every day? How many of you are immersed in Latin America? Okay, cool. I see hands. You can also use the chat because some of you have your screens off, so I don't see your hands, right? Okay, so most of you, if not all of you, are hearing Spanish every single day. Okay, and are any of you doing anything in particular? Do any of you have a strategy for listening? Do any of you have a game plan? Or are you just kind of going out there and trying your best? Put it in the chat. All right. Sometimes with video. Okay, says Robert. If you have something, you can unmute yourself and share. Does anyone have a strategy to improve their listening? Something when they're out there in the streets, they're consciously trying to do. Parker says, I'm trying my best. Joe says, no strategy. Okay. All right. Patty, trying my best. Okay. So trying to memorize song lyrics, says Lindsay. Great. Okay. All right. So here is your strategy for the street. Okay. Listen to hear, not to understand. In another way of saying that is, don't translate in your head. Okay. So when they're speaking, I don't want you thinking, because what's going to happen is they're going to go blah, 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 blah. We'll do an example. We'll have our coaches speak for a minute. But when they're talking and they're going blah, 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 when you hit a word that you don't know, like apúrate, right? When you hit that word, your brain starts thinking, what is that word? What is that word? What is that word? And by the time you think of that word, they've said 10 more words that you didn't hear. And now you're lost, right? Now you're lost. And now you got to just give up. Like you did so well, and then you hit a word and then you're gone. Okay. That's not good, because if you don't hear the words, you definitely won't understand the words. This is something I had to figure out from my 15 years of living in Latin America. This technique changed the game for me in terms of listening. What you're going to do instead is you're going to play a game called How Many Words in a Row Can I Hear? All right. And so as they're talking, you're just listening. And then when you hit a word you don't know, the game is over and you just start a new game. Don't think about what did he say. Think about what's the next word he's going to say, and start the game over again. And then you go until you lose it. And then you start the next word, the next word, the next word. And you only focus on the next word. If you make this a practice, you will be amazed at how much more Spanish you're starting to hear. It'll start sounding like words instead of just mumbling. Right? Right now, it's a lot of mumbling with a few words, you know, like that. Okay. Does that make sense to everybody? Let's try. Okay. Let's try. Magda and David. Okay. We're going to have a conversation. You guys have a conversation about let's pick a topic. Let's say.
No, wait, en Argentina es el Día del Amigo hoy.
Oh, bien.
Sí, entonces vamos a hablar sobre la amistad.
Excelente. No lo tenemos en mi país, en los Estados Unidos, no lo tenemos, pero does anybody know like Friendship Day? In Argentina, it's Friendship Day today. David, Ali, en México, en Venezuela, también ustedes celebran.
No, en Venezuela no.
Ustedes celebran, no.
En México celebramos el Día de la Amistad, pero es el 14 de febrero.
Okay, okay.
Para
Bien.
nosotros, San Valentín.
All right.
¿O no? Sí, 14
Bien.
de febrero.
Nosotros Días del Amor y Día de la Amistad.
All right. So
Ay,
we're
qué
gonna.
lindo.
Okay. So David and Magda, I want you to speak very, very 10 seconds, 20 segundos sobre el día de, ¿cómo se llama? Día de amistades.
Sí,
De los
el Día de la-
amigos.
De los
de
amigos.
los amigos.
Okay. All right. So everybody, I want you to listen to David and Magda. All right. Let's get one volunteer. Somebody who wants to be the volunteer, the guinea pig on this one. Okay. And what you're going to do is you're going to listen to them. And at the end, I'm going to ask you a question. Okay. And I don't want to tell you that question yet because I want to see if you apply this technique. Listen to hear, not to understand. Okay. So who wants to try to be the guinea pig? Don't be shy. It's good to be not good. It's good to being a beginner is a privilege. This is very, very important. Being a beginner is a privilege, not a bad thing. Robert is up for it. All right. We've all succeeded at business and life and family and money and travel and school and university. We've all succeeded in our lives at many things. We're lucky to be a beginner at something else, right? Because when you stop learning, you stop living. So don't be shy to make mistakes. That's a mindset tip for Spanish. Very important. Okay. Don't be afraid to look bad and look stupid and all that. That's part of the journey.
I'll do it well.
Good. All right. All right. It's so important. Laughter is good. Fear is not good. Fear won't help you. Okay. It's good to look stupid. All right. So, and I look very stupid.
Like I did.
Everybody does. Okay. Robert, so Magda and David. So Robert, as you're listening to their conversation, play the game. How many words in a row can I hear? If you lose it, focus on the next word.
So count them or just pay attention to
No,
the.
just you're listening. You're trying to hear them. If
Right,
you hit a road bump where you're lost, don't think about it. Focus on the next word they're saying.
Okay.
Okay, cool. All right. Most likely, you're going to hear like 3 words in a row and lose it. 2 words, 3 words, lose it. 2 words. That's usually how it goes. Okay. Here we go. Magda and David, let's talk. Un minuto. Algo así.
¿Vale?
Bueno,
Muy bien.
rápido o lento o medio.
Normal.
Normal. Ok.
Natural.
Muy
Listo,
bien.
Magda. Entonces, ¿qué vas a hacer hoy? Cuéntame. ¿Qué planes tienes para el Día del Amigo?
Bueno, nos vamos a juntar con mis amigas en mi casa, vamos a comer unas pizzas y tomar un vino blanco aquí y bueno,
Pizza con vino, bien.
escuchar un poco de música. ¿Tú qué vas a hacer?
Bien. Yo nada, probablemente voy a salir con los muchachos a rodar por bici en la ciudad. Quizás conseguimos un bar y nos sentamos a tomar mientras estamos rodando por la ciudad.
Boom.
Pero
Stop. All right. What was the last word you caught?
That was really hard. Well, I heard something about white wine.
Don't explain, just the last word that you heard.
I don't know.
Okay. So this is the point. I don't want you thinking about what they're saying. I don't want you translating in your head. That is not what I'm teaching you. Okay. I want you hearing the words, not understanding them. Okay. So the last word that they heard, let's try it again, Robert. So you're going to do it again.
Okay.
This is going to be my question to you. What's the last word that you heard?
Okay.
All right. Continúan, por favor.
bueno, entonces
Sí.
como decía, probablemente consigamos un bar y nos vamos a sentar ahí a tomar mientras seguimos rodando por la ciudad, conociendo la costa de Buenos Aires y todo tranquilo, todo tranquilo. ¿Cuánta gente va a tu casa a visitarte?
Boom. Stop. What's the last word you heard?
Tocarte?
¿Cuánta gente?
Wait, Robert.
Tocarte?
Visitarte.
Visitarte.
Okay, one more time. Let's go. Un poco más lento, Magda y David. Un poco más lento.
Ok. Aproximadamente vendrán unas 5 personas que son mis mejores amigas de toda la vida.
Boom.
Eh,
Stop right there. Stop right there. Last word you heard.
Vida.
Vida. Good. All right. All right. Continúa.
Life is good. Okay.
Life.
¿Qué suelen tomar en el bar junto con tus amigos, David?
Yo siempre pido una IPA. ¿Sabes la cerveza IPA?
Boom. Stop. Last word or phrase.
IPA. It's a beer, I think.
Good. All right. All right. What about the last phrase? Did you hear 2 or 3 words?
Tomar?
He said, ¿sabes la cerveza IPA? Or something about la cerveza IPA. That's the last thing I remember.
Sí, that's right.
Right,
Okay.
no. I when you mentioned it, I remember it, but I didn't remember it. I heard Tomar.
So this is your exercise, guys. When you're in the streets, don't translate in your head. Stop it. Your brain will figure out what it figures out. Okay? You either know it or you don't know it. Don't try to be smarter than your brain. Okay? Your job is 100% on hearing. This is how children, all of us, learned our first language. None of us had a translator app when we were 1 year old. Nobody did, right? All we did was listen to the sounds of our parents and repeat them back to them, right? That is how children learn to hear their language. That's how you are going to learn to hear the language. Okay? Do not intellectualize it. Hear it. Hear it. Hear it. Physically hear the language. Okay? Let's now, okay, so that's street practice. Now we're going to give you some exercises to work on that in your home, right? Or with a teacher. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Is this helpful, this street practice? Do you find this? Did anyone find it? Did anyone feel like they got a little better by the end of the exercise? Did they feel like they heard a little bit more? Or, I mean, it's early, it's the first time, but did anyone feel a difference in how they were listening to them? Yes, no?
I think I had a better sense of what you meant in terms of listening just to hear the words. I think a little bit for myself, I've been doing that with reading things, in that I just sort of read the whole rather than trying to translate word by word.
Yeah.
As I go through and getting the idea. I mean,
Yeah.
it is still understanding,
Yeah.
but I'm not translating word for word, because especially with Spanish, word for word won't make sense. You have to
Okay.
understand the whole idea.
That's a different thing. Reading and understanding is different. That's intellectual. Okay, this is hearing is physical. The concept, there is some similarity, yes, in that concept. So letting it wash over you is an example. Letting it sort of like flow over you. That's a good analogy, right? So don't get hung up. Keep on focusing on the next word. And if you said yes a little, Joe Parker, okay, that little bit, that little crack in the door is just the beginning. This is something exactly like lifting weights at the gym or losing weight, right? If any of you have tried to get in shape or lose weight or whatever, you know how hard it can be. It is not an overnight instant gratification activity. And neither is listening to Spanish. You cannot take this workshop and say, oh, I got some techniques, I'm going to get better. You have to work at this. This is going to have to take work, daily consistency. Okay. If you just understand the concept of what I'm saying, but don't do these exercises, you will not get the benefits of what I'm saying. Right? I can teach you how to do push-ups, but if you don't do push-ups, you're not going to be strong. All right. This is a physical activity, not an intellectual activity. Get that through, put that on paper, write that down. Physical, not intellectual. Okay. You need to physically do this. All right. Here we go. These are our exercises. Dictation, the parrot technique. All right. The parrot technique is like a parrot. We're going to say something to you. You're going to repeat it back and write it down. Okay. We have easy level, medium, hard, and expert. We give this to our students for them to do on their phones every day. And we have classes where our students do it with us every day in class. Okay. Dictation. So for example, I would say palabra and you guys wouldn't see the screen. And then you would write it down, palabra, and then see if you're right. We'd show you the answer, right? And then if that's good, we'll go to the medium level. Medium level, yo voy a caminar en la playa. And we have a bunch of sentences that are what I call simple sentences. Yo voy a. They all start with yo voy a, I'm going to, and then something, I'm going to something. And so then we do that. And if that's too easy, then we go to the hard level, which is a more short sentences and expert longer sentences. Okay, so we train you. If you can hear one word, great. If you can hear short sentences, great. Longer. Okay, so let's practice some dictation. All right, first we will start with the easy. All right, Mark Anthony, if you don't know that song, he's one of the best.
Te gusta Marc Anthony, ¿no?
Ya sabes. All right. Listening practice. Here we go.
Nariz.
Okay. So everybody, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Okay. We're going to play it.
Comencemos.
Comencemos. Everybody's going to write in the chat what you hear. Ready? Here we go. And I'll play it once with the flashcards, and then Ali, can you repeat it? I'll play the flashcard once, and then Ali, you repeat it once.
Okay.
Here we go.
Nariz.
Nariz.
All right. 5, 4, 3,
Ooh.
2, 1. Nariz. And I will put the answer in the chat as well.
Muy bien. Only Hillary, no? That's wrong. But
Yeah,
the rest good. Good.
good. All
Ah,
right.
no. Oh, and Parker. Parker, nariz.
Okay. Actually, I can do it another way. I can do it like this. I can do it like this. All right.
Nose, nariz.
Oh. Coaches, have you noticed that Quizlet just changed and we can't change the cards the same way we used to? That's just a side note. Quizlet they just changed their interface. Okay. Sidetrack. Okay. Next one.
Ataque.
Ataque.
Ali, again, your thing cut out.
Ataque. Ataque. Bien, James. Robert, only one T.
All right. There it is.
Yeah.
Ataque.
Ataque.
Good. All right.
Ataque.
Right there. Ataque. Next.
Silla.
Silla. Silla. Not Robert, not Lynn, not Hillary. Good Patty. Good Joe.
There it is. Silla. Silla or silla. If you have a Colombian accent or whatever, depends. Next.
Ministro.
Ministro.
There you go.
Ministro. Bien, James. Bien, Hillary. Good Joe. No, Lindsay. No. Patty. Muy bien. Robert. Good. Karen. Bien.
Okay. So now we're going to step it up a notch. All right. I just want to give you the experience of different levels.
Yo voy a consentir el trato.
Okay. So this is the next level. The only thing you need to know is the first part of these sentences is always going to be yo voy a and then something. All right. So you don't need to write yo voy a. We already know that's going to be part of it. Okay. Here we go. Ali, I'm going to have David do it because I think you have some background noise. I'm going to have David.
Hi.
All right, David, you're up.
Listo. Solo repito la palabra, ¿no?
Yo voy a deshacer los errores.
Deshacer.
You're going to repeat the whole sentence.
Ah, ok, listo, dale.
Okay, let's scratch that. Let's do the next one.
Vale.
All right, here we go.
Va a soler llover.
Wait,
Vaso.
that one was a mistake because I told them yo voy a is going to start. There's a couple that break the rules. Next one. Here we go.
Yo voy a reiniciar la computadora.
There we go.
Ok, yo voy a reiniciar la computadora.
All right, you don't need yo voy a. We already got that part. It's the second part.
Ok.
All right, here it is. Yo voy a reiniciar la computadora. Or David, you can say it.
Yo voy a reiniciar la computadora.
Muy bien. All right. Next one, here we go.
Yo voy a asumir lo mejor.
Voy a asumir lo mejor.
Here it is. That was a tricky one because you had the right? Voy a asumir. Okay.
I'm going to assume the best. Yo voy a asumir lo mejor.
Next one more.
Yo voy a derramar la leche.
Voy a derramar la leche.
All right. Now, I want one volunteer, and you're going to do this out loud. So when you hear David say it, you're going to repeat back to him what he said. Okay? So the reason I did writing it, to get all of you involved and participating. Now we're going to do it the way in class we have students actually repeat it. Okay, so who wants to be the guinea pig for this one? First one to put yes in the chat. Don't be shy. Okay, Hillary. Hillary is the champion. Okay, anyone who not Hillary, this is your chance because Hillary's done it once and Robert has done it once. Anyone not Hillary want to try? You're gonna be listening to David and Joe. Good job, Joe. Here we go. Hillary, I like the energy. I like the energy. I like it.
No problem.
Right. Good. Joe, you're up. You ready?
Okay.
All right. So you're gonna listen to it and then listen to David and then you're gonna repeat it. Here we go.
Yo voy a borrar estos mensajes.
Voy a borrar estos mensajes.
Voy a borrar los mensajes.
Take a look.
Bien.
And now read it out loud, Joe.
I have to find it first.
It's on my screen.
Yo voy a borrar estos mensajes.
Can you see the screen?
A borrar estos mensajes.
Very good. Let's do another one. Ready?
Yo voy a empujar el auto.
Voy a empujar el auto.
Voy a empujar
Again,
El
Dave.
auto. Voy a empujar el auto.
voy a empujar el auto.
Good. Okay, so this is the parrot technique. Dictation. Listen and repeat, listen and repeat, listen and repeat, and write it down. See if you're right. Okay, you can do this by yourself with our flashcards if you're in our program, right? Or you can do it with a teacher, right? But dictation is great. Okay, this is 5 minutes a day, every day. You do this, you just get better and better at hearing Spanish. And it's good to do it with stuff you know, but it's even better to do it with stuff you don't know. Right? Because that's going to really challenge your hearing. Because if you do stuff you know, that's great. Nothing wrong with that. It's perfect. But it won't be as challenging, right? Because you're going on memory. You don't know the words, you really have to focus on hearing. And you get to learn new words. Win-win. All right. So good. Thank you, Joe. All right. Any questions, anybody, on dictation? The parrot technique. Okay. Next technique, you guys, probably more of you have tried this, subtitles. How many of you have tried listening with subtitles to things? Okay, I see some hands. All right. Here's my question to you. And you can unmute yourself if you want, or put it in the chat, either way. When you listen to subtitles, how did you do it? Did you do Spanish with Spanish subtitles, Spanish with English subtitles, English with Spanish subtitles? How did you do it?
English.
What? English, the
English subtitles.
Okay, so you did Spanish audio with English subtitles. Yeah. Okay. Did anyone do Spanish with Spanish subtitles? Anyone try that? Nobody? That's okay, but I'm surprised. Usually someone has tried that.
I have tried that, Peter, but I couldn't understand a single word they said.
Okay, good. All right. So that's what we're going to talk about. Subtitling can be very, very helpful. All right. Let me show you what that looks like. All right. So let's go with David and Magda. All right. David and Magda, por favor, pueden leer la conversación Hasta aquí.
¿Ok? Yo soy el 1 y tú el 2.
Sí. Mag con
Dale.
Mag, sí.
Vale. ¿Estás lista para ir al aeropuerto?
Todavía no, tengo que hacer la maleta.
Apúrate o vas a perder tu vuelo.
¿A qué hora sale?
Sale a las 10 de la mañana. Tenemos que registrar a las 8.
Ok, vamos.
Tenemos que registrarnos, typo. Sí.
Ok, ahí yo sigo. Ok, vamos, estoy listo. ¿Qué aerolínea es?
Estamos usando Aeroméxico.
Good. Okay. So, were you guys reading along as they were speaking?
Mhm.
Okay. Did you feel like you could at least hear what they were saying and the words and it was clear?
Yep.
Okay. This is the same stuff I was doing. This is from the exact same thing I did with Hillary earlier, where everyone said it was hard to hear. Right? Having subtitles helps you hear better, but only if you do Spanish subtitles. If you do English subtitles, your brain is going to be thinking about the English, not the Spanish. Okay? And what do I keep saying? Hearing is a physical exercise, not an intellectual one. Yes, you're going to be able to read some English subtitles. That's great. Congratulations, you read English, right? But you're not going to pick up a lot that way. Okay? The way to pick up the most, there's two things. Remember when I say listening has two parts, hearing and understanding. The first part, hearing it, you need these subtitles, okay? The Spanish. And you read and listen and follow the Spanish. That'll help you hear better. Okay? Then you need the English to understand, and hearing plus understanding equals listening comprehension. That's what we want, listening comprehension. But if you only have English subtitles, you're not going to understand a lot because you're not going to hear what the words match with what, right? You see the English there, but if you don't also have Spanish subtitles with it, you're not going to translate. You're going to hear it, but you're not going to process it. So the best way to do subtitles is having both Spanish and English together. That is the way to do subtitles. And then when you're listening, you have to be reading the Spanish, not the English. If you want to know what it means, you can read the English before or after, but not during. During the video, during the music, during the song, during the TV show, while you're watching it, you are not reading the English, you are reading only the Spanish. If you want to study the English, you stop the tape and you read the English and go over translations beforehand or after. Okay? During this show, you are 100% focused on hearing and reading the Spanish. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's read the English together here. Okay. Are you ready to go to the airport? ¿Estás listo para ir al aeropuerto? All right. So David, I will read the English and you read the Spanish. Okay.
¿Listo?
Not yet. I need to pack my bag.
Todavía no. Tengo que hacer la maleta.
Hurry or you're going to miss your flight.
Apúrate o vas a perder tu vuelo.
What time does it leave?
¿A qué hora sale?
It departs at 10 a.m. We have to check in at 8.
Sale a las 10 de la mañana. Tenemos que registrarnos a las 8.
Okay, let's go. I'm ready. What airline is it?
Ok, vamos. Estoy listo. ¿Qué aerolínea es?
We're using Aeroméxico.
Estamos usando Aeroméxico.
Okay, did anybody learn some new words in this little paragraph? Okay, does anybody have any questions about the grammar in this paragraph, in this little conversation? Anybody have any grammar questions, word questions?
Word, sort of a word question. In Costa Rica, I think we say aún no instead of todavía no.
They are synonyms.
Okay, that's my point. It's, yeah,
They're fine. Same with English.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We have lots of synonyms.
Yep.
You know, not yet, or I still haven't, you know, or I haven't yet, or I still haven't. Those are synonyms. Okay. Aún en todavía. All right. Any other questions on the words, the translation here? Everything makes sense. Okay. So now, David and Magda, one more time. Let's do the same conversation again. Everybody follow the Spanish. Go ahead.
¿Estás listo para ir al aeropuerto?
Todavía no, tengo que hacer la maleta.
Apúrate o vas a perder tu vuelo.
¿A qué hora sale?
Sale a las 10 de la mañana, pero tenemos que registrarnos a las 8.
Ok, vamos, estoy listo. ¿Qué aerolínea es?
Estamos usando Aeroméxico.
Good. Okay. How did that feel? Did everybody feel like was everyone reading the Spanish, first of all?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did everyone feel like they were understanding the conversation? Okay. Now, I want to do this. I want you guys to do it. I can't really do it because Magda and David aren't prepared with it on their screens right now. But I want to do it one more time, and I want you guys to close your eyes or look away and not look at the words and see how it sounds. Okay? And remember the technique that I told you before, the street practice, right? Play the game. How many words in a row can you hear? Focus on the next word. Okay? Here we go, Magda and David. Comienzan.
Bien. ¿Estás lista para ir al aeropuerto?
Todavía no, tengo que hacer la maleta.
Apúrate o vas a perder tu vuelo.
¿A qué hora sale?
Sale a las 10 de la mañana. Tenemos que registrarnos a las 8.
Ok, vamos, estoy listo. ¿Qué aerolínea es?
Estamos usando Aeroméxico.
Good. All right, everybody. How did that feel going through it that time? Did anyone get lost, or did you feel like you kept up with the whole thing? You can unmute yourselves. We're at the end of the workshop. We're just finishing up here. So
More lost.
you were still lost?
It was more the music of the sounds I was listening to. What the meaning was not really that present.
Okay. Right. Okay. So this is the work, right? You see it, you can kind of follow it along. Okay, you translate it, you got it. You're going to have to get better at hearing it. Right? And then hearing it without overthinking and just being able to hear the words and they kind of sink in. Right? Because you've heard this conversation now 5 times and you're still a little lost, which is normal. This is why we're doing this workshop. Imagine in the streets where they're talking and you haven't reviewed it 5 times and you don't have subtitles that you've studied, right? So that's the Mount Everest you're up against with hearing. But I promise you, as hard as it feels to get this one right now, it's not going to be this hard 6 months from now if you do these things every day. It's going to get easier, just like doing push-ups gets easier. Okay, but right now, you are babies when it comes to your Spanish ears. Your Spanish ears are little tiny muscles. They're not strong, right? And so your brain is just struggling to hear the words, let alone figure out what they mean and keep up with it. Okay, so even if you know that on paper, it's not enough. It's not enough. Anyone else, what was your experience the last time listening to this conversation? How was it for you? Was it easier? Was it harder? Was it the same? Did you notice? Did you do anything different?
The more I hear it, the more I know it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
It sticks. The more I hear it, the more it sticks.
Okay, good. Did you feel like you were using those techniques as you were listening?
I was trying.
Okay. Were you getting stuck and catching yourself, like thinking about it?
No, I just kept going.
Good, good. Anyone else? How was it? How was it? What was the experience? What was the feeling listening to it the second, third, or fourth, or fifth time?
I felt like I understood it. I just, the one word I hadn't really known was apúrate. Thank you
Good.
very much.
Okay. So this is, and we're just wrapping up, so we're finished up. This is the process: dictation, subtitles, and street practice. Now, there are some things you can find for free for on YouTube. The two sources we have our students listen to if they want, we have conversations that we've created like these on dozens or hundreds of topics, just like this in our program. I think here's a small list of them, lots of conversations. What's nice about these ones is they are conversations you probably are going to have in your daily life, like common situations, okay, stuff at the airport, getting a taxi, on the bus, so it's not like a telenovela where it's random, or a love song where they're talking about love and you're probably not going to talk about that in your daily life, right? Not that often, right? So having these conversations that we've created is an extra bonus because it's relevant to stuff you're probably going to do, right? So the vocabulary, the words you're hearing is more relevant to you, which is a bonus. But with that said, I learned my Spanish with a lot of music, and LingoPie, this is a YouTube channel. I'm just going to go to it on YouTube here. They have
Yo soy mi música. De alguna manera dejar mi huella.
They have the bilingual subtitles. Okay, so you can go to their page, LingoPie Music.
Hi, welcome to Lingo.
And they have LingoPie TV. There's a specific one called LingoPie Music. I thought I had that link, but LingoPie Music. All right. And they
would you like to learn Spanish with your
and they have Italian, French, and here's Spanish. Okay, so in here they have reggaeton, classic Spanish music, tango, Colombian music, Mexican music, Argentinian music, Puerto Rican. All right, they have all these different types of music with bilingual subtitles. So this is a good resource for doing your listening practice. And the other one is called Easy Spanish. Easy Spanish. And this is another good one right here. Okay, and they have videos with good interviews in the streets. Okay.
Tu infancia, ¿cómo eras de niño?
And the reason I picked out these two.
¿Qué te gustaba hacer? ¿A qué jugabas?
Okay, the reason I picked out these two in particular is because the subtitles are accurate. So if any of you have tried subtitles with Netflix, you'll find that the words don't match what they're saying. And that's not going to help you, because now what's going to happen is you're listening to one thing, but you're reading another. Your eyes are reading one word, your ears are hearing another. It's like two kids yelling at you at the same time. Your brain is not going to remember anything. So the reason I've chosen LingoPie and Easy Spanish, these two free resources, LingoPie has a paid service and Easy Spanish has a paid service, but they also have their free YouTube services, right? So the reason I picked these two is because they have accurate bilingual subtitles. Okay, so that means what you're hearing is what you're reading. Okay, so this and dictation should be part of your daily routine. I have all of my students doing this 5 minutes a day, dictation and subtitles. Now, the better you get at Spanish, the more this is important. I still do this myself. I'll still watch an easy Spanish episode. I'll still watch. You can never stop learning words. You can never stop learning Spanish, and you can never improve your listening enough. All right. There is no end to this. So this is good practice no matter what level you are on. And the better you get at everything else in Spanish, once you get past what I call like the tipping point, and this brings me to like the next steps, kind of like, all right, I want to get conversational. What do I do next? Type of thing. So listening for you guys right now, if I go back to this here, ¿Qué te gustaba hacer? ¿A qué jugabas? All right. I could look at this sentence and I know exactly what's going on. Let me find a word that maybe I don't know. Patinar. Okay, there's a word that like maybe a lot of you don't know. All right. It means skateboarding or roller skating or whatever. Okay. Ali or David or Magda or David, is patinar also? I thought it was roller skating, to be honest with you.
Any skating.
Any skating. Sí, patinar es con skating.
Any
It can be
people-
ice skating. Mhm.
Anyone. Okay. So I just learned a new word. I know that patinar now means skateboarding. Okay. So for me, I can look at this any sentence and pick out new words. It's very easy for me to improve my Spanish. For you guys, you have an extra challenge of grammar. Okay. Probably you guys don't know all the grammar that there is to know in Spanish, right? Like if I were to write this sentence here, se me olvidaron las llaves. Okay. How many of you understand se me olvidaron las llaves? How many of you understand the grammar in this sentence? How many of you know what is se and me?
Me, lost the keys.
Okay.
If I should lose the keys.
Okay, so how would you say I lost how would you say you lost the key? You lost the key.
Se te olvidaron las llaves o olvidaste las llaves, ¿no?
How about the one key? You lost the key.
Olvidaste la llave.
Se
te olvidó la llave.
Yes. Okay. So without understanding, and clearly you're pretty good, solid, intermediate level if you even get it right on the second try. Most people won't understand this because they won't understand the grammar. Right? You don't understand the grammar. You don't know what say is. You don't know what the conjugation is and stuff. So this listening piece, okay, it gets more and more important after you get understanding of Spanish grammar. Once you understand how Spanish works and you understand all the grammar, now when you do your listening and you put on your music and you put on your easy Spanish and you're listening, even if you don't know all the words, you can teach yourself new words because you know the grammar, right? And it's like, I can teach myself. Until you get to that point, you still need more than just listening. Listening will be 5 minutes a day, part of your routine. And then the other rest of your day, I'm guessing you guys are probably going to study an hour a day, 30 minutes a day. That's the average, right? If you're studying an hour a day on Spanish, you spend 5-10 minutes on listening. The rest of your hour, you want to be learning Spanish. Okay, you want to be learning the intellectual side of Spanish, the words, the verbs, the grammar, the verb tenses. And that's what we do in our program. In 15 hours, we teach you the structure of Spanish. Okay, it takes you more than 15 hours to learn it, but the videos themselves, the lessons themselves are 15 hours, and you will understand how Spanish works, how the structure is. The verbs, the verb tenses, the pronouns, all the stuff that we don't like, right? But you have to have it. You have to have it. You just can't avoid it. This is back to the first point when we talked about survival and conversational. If you just memorize random stuff, you're going to be stuck in survival Spanish forever. You have to understand how Spanish works to get conversational. You have to understand the verb tenses, and that's what we give you in the first 15 hours. Okay, we have a full video course. We have a full curriculum. We have classes every day that you can practice. We have a system. Okay, so we have, here's our videos. You're going to learn how to read and pronounce Spanish. You're going to learn how to listen. You're going to start doing your listening, some survival Spanish, and so on and so forth. Okay. We'll customize it to everybody's level. We'll customize it. If you're intermediate, you'll start somewhere else. If you're a beginner, you'll start at the beginning. But basically, this is what we do. And we have unlimited classes all day, Monday through Friday. Okay, 8 a.m. till 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. Different levels, different types of classes going on with Ali, Magda, David, and our other teachers. And you're immersed. No matter where you are in the world, you have a teacher sitting there on Zoom ready to practice these things with you. All right, whether it's listening, whether it's reading, whether it's verbs, vocabulary, grammar, whatever it is, or just having conversations, immersion. We have students every day, all day long, with our team, with our teachers, practicing all the skills. So that's it. If you guys have questions, if you're interested in this, okay, once you get into our program, we'll give you everything you need to get conversational. Okay, there's a whole nother video in our Facebook group about what that takes. It's called Beginners Essentials. So if you're not in our Facebook group, you can join it. This is it. It's free. And in this Facebook group, we have some guides where I talk more in detail about what it means to be conversational. What are the steps to get there? What verbs do you need? What grammar do you need? Etc. So you go to the guides, you go down below to workshops, and in these workshops, we cover pronunciation, we cover intermediate issues, the plateau, beginner's essentials, the word say, reflexive verbs, subjunctive, all kinds of things. We just have workshops constantly going on difficult topics, right? Topics that tend to get students stuck. There's topics that keep people from being able to immerse in the culture. So we have a lot of fun. It's a great team. Where do we go with our thing here? And so next steps, I didn't have the slide. Oh, this is the slide I was looking for. Join our Facebook group is right there. That's the address. Follow us on Instagram. Email us questions. Okay, it's all right there. Take a screenshot, whatever you want to do. It's all right there. And if you're interested in getting an assessment of your Spanish so we can analyze your Spanish, we can take a look at your level, take a look at your goals, say, okay, how much time do you have? 3 hours a week, 6 hours a week, 7 hours a week, whatever time you have per week, we'll create a program for you with steps. And we have 24/7 support. So you go to fcsprogram.com and it's just right here. You log in somewhere on the page at the bottom, go through all the things. You'll see book my assessment. You book an assessment. We have a call, 20-30 minutes, and you'll know exactly what you need to get conversational, whether you're a beginner or intermediate. There are steps. We've done this over and over again. We've done this with people who have tried everything else. They've tried all the tutors, all the apps, all the schools, universities, programs, and now it works, right? In a matter of months, we'll get you there. So, yep, that is it. All right, we are done. Questions, open up for questions to our team, to our coaches, to me. Anything you guys want to know, and then I'll have the coaches give you their last piece of advice, and then we'll sign out. Muy bien. Questions, preguntas. Nada. You guys good? Okay. Then coaches, we're out of here. Anything left? David, Ali, and Magda. Just tips for anybody who's working on their listening or their Spanish.
Bueno, Ali, continúa.
No, nothing. Everything good, and we hope that you can join us and take this opportunity to learn or improve your Spanish. We are the best option.
Ali, estás de vacaciones esta semana. Sí, estás en la playa.
No, soy citadina.
Okay. Yeah.
Ciudad, no playa, esta vez.
All right.
This is a series of what? Three classes, 3 workshops? Or
What
is
about?
this-
Say that again.
Is this a series of 3 workshops, or is this it just today?
We
only?
have a free workshop once a week, just on different topics, rotating different topics. And then we have a program that gets you to your goal, to your finish line, right? We assess everything you need. There's no time limit. We don't put a time limit on you. We tell you what you need and we get you there. We work with you until you get there, right? So in normal programs, it's like you pay for the hour and whatever. Maybe I'll get there one day, maybe I won't, right? With us, we come up with a plan, we agree, it looks good, and then boom, if it takes you 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 24 months, whatever it takes you to get there, we'll keep working with you. As long as you do the work, we guarantee results.
Okay.
So the free workshops are free. The program is separate, right? The free workshops are once a week on random topics, different things, right? Little tips like this that can help you kind of on specific areas. The whole program is comprehensive about, okay, we're going to get you to a specific goal.
Got it.
Cool. Awesome.
Okay. Thank you.
Good job, you guys. Gracias por participar. Okay. Glad that you guys participated. And if you don't have any questions, we'll see you guys in the next workshop or schedule a call. Let us know. Send your email or send me a message. All right. Good job, you guys. Que tengan un buen día, un feliz día. Hasta pronto.
Adiós, nos vemos.
No.
Igual. Okay, gracias.